Cristos at Ground Zero, Grenfell. Firstly, I'm so happy you're okay, bro.
Thank you very much.
And the community loves you. And from now on, you'll be able to speak and, you know, tell the story that so many haven't lived to tell. And so, firstly, I wanted to ask you, where were you when you first became aware that Grenfell Tower was on fire?
Well, actually, in my bedroom, listening to some watching TV, and I heard some banging on my door, but I didn't really penny in it, really and truly. I didn't, because if you don't phone me or I'm not aware you come to my house, I don't open my door for no one. So it wasn't. But how I got aware of it is when the alarm went off, and then smoke started to come into the room, and I started to hear noise at the back of my house. That's when I realised something wasn't right.
What floor do you live on?
I live on the 15th floor.
And so what was your first thoughts when you realised that there was serious fire?
My first thought was, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. I need to evacuate and get downstairs. That was my first thought.
Right. And what was your first action?
My first action was to open the front door.
Right.
And when I opened up the front door, I was confronted by a thick, dirty, smoky smell of smoke, and that's when I just closed back the door again.
Right.
And that's when I rang the fire brigade. I rang them about 5, 6, 7 times, different ones, trying to get advice on what to do. And they was telling me basically that you need to go through there, because they didn't say it in that kind of aspect, but basically they were saying that the building is just very bad.
Right, because the story that we were getting outside is that they were telling people to stay put. Is that not correct?
Yeah, but when I phoned them, it was a little bit later. It was a little bit later because I was in there for 3 hours. I actually got out at 3:30 or something.
Right, so even though your first thought was to get out, you did stay put for about 3 hours?
Yes, exactly.
How come?
How come? Because I didn't realise exactly what was really happening.
Right.
It's because I was on the phone to my brother at first, and I was saying to my brother, there's something happened, but I'm not sure what's happening. But I didn't think it was. At first, I didn't think it was that major, because even if there was a fire, it's not gonna erupt like how it erupts. You don't see a fire. It's usually like there was a fire in Shelley Tower, and it was so contained, but you didn't think it was going to explode, go like that. You don't think like that. You really don't think.
So during those 3 hours between realising that the building was on fire and exiting the building, what was going through your mind?
What was going through my mind is when I realised it was serious, and I need to get out. That's when I had communication with the fire brigade. And basically they was trying to get me out, trying to help me to get out of it, but I couldn't get out. I tried 3 times to get out, but the smoke was so thick. I think the first time I went out is when it was dark, and I tried to get out and I couldn't feel it. I had to go back in, and I said to them, look, I can't see, there's no lights again. Then the lights went on, and I tried again, and I couldn't do it. I think it was the 4th time when I tried, when the whole house was up in smoke, and I had no choice.
And during that period, were you looking outside out of the window? Yes,
I was looking out the window.
And what did you see?
When I looked downstairs, I saw police officers, I saw fire brigade. When I looked upstairs, I saw fire coming down. It actually hit me here, you can see. You can see that was a melting of the plastic of it, and it was potent and stinking and smelling. And I can hear people saying, jump, jump. And it's just debris. It's just,
that was people from outside the block
outside, downstairs.
You to jump.
No. I can hear people saying jump, jump. Obviously they're talking to other people around the building, because obviously it's a big building. Right. But when I was shouting, I was saying help, help, help.
And you're the 15th floor, so realistically jumping would be suicidal. It would be suicidal.
But no one was recognising me, because I was saying help. I'm stuck, and I'm looking down, and the police were looking at me like that. Like I wasn't.
How many other people that were within the building were saying help from the windows?
I couldn't hear it. It was just so much commotion. You could hear help, 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 help. Right. It wasn't like that you couldn't recognise, because at the same time a lot of things was happening. How am I going to get out? I've been burnt. I was trying to think. It was just when you're in that situation, so much things happen. You just can't take it all in at once. Plus I had an ambulance on the phone as well. Right. I phoned them about 5 times. So that was it.
And when you eventually made the decision, so on the 4th attempt to leave, you made the decision that it's either leave completely or it's death.
The reason I left on the 4th, I had no choice.
Yeah.
Is because my whole house got full up with smoke.
Yeah.
That was it. It through all the vents and all that, because I was stuck in one room in the end, in the back room, because everything else was smoky, and that was kind of saved.
Who'd you live with by then?
I lived by myself.
Okay.
So when the house got full up with smoke, and because obviously, as I said before, I was talking to the fire brigade, I had no choice. She said to me to wet a towel, put it around me, get a wet thing and put it on my mouth. And I said I was talking to her on the floor. And then when the whole house got full up, that was it. I had no choice. So I made a run for it. I took a deep breath and I made a run for it. I opened the door and I went out the door. I felt my way down 15th floor and I was running down the stairs. But it was difficult because of the smoke and everything.
Right. So you ran down 15 flights of stairs?
Yes, I don't know how I done it.
Right.
I don't know how I done it.
And during those 15 flights of stairs, I estimate, even if you were running at your fastest and there were no interruptions, that would have taken you at least 5 minutes, man. At least 5 minutes.
I don't even remember, mate. I swear, it felt quick.
Right. And during that process, what was going through your mind? What did you come across as you were going down the stairs?
When I was coming across downstairs, all I remember is stepping on things that were soft. And as I got around one of the bends, I fell down, and I would remember specifically it was an Arab man. You could see it, a lot of hair, long hair and beard, and he was laying on the floor and he was just like that. He was gone. He was gone, and that kind of like shook me up. And there was, and obviously I stepped on other foots and people down, because obviously people who was trying to get at the back of it was like. They couldn't cope with the smell, so they fainted, obviously. Did
you sense that any of them may be alive?
Do you know what, to be honest, you know, it was just lifeless. But you have to understand, when you're in that situation and it's a lot of smoke, the atmosphere, everything's just different. It was like I was going through some like foggy thing. The whole it was just different. It wasn't like now, like you feel just everything. It was different. The atmosphere, everything was different. Because you got the smoke, you got everything that's different. The voice and everything was different. It was just mad.
So, as a young man, you're more physically able than say the older or the younger people would have been. Were you to be quite older or a child, do you think you would have been able to make?
To be honest, I'm not beating around the bush.
The same journey that you did.
To be honest, I feel sorry for the elderly and for the children, because even as I said before, even if the fire doesn't kill you, it's the smell and the potentness of the burning of that fire. That is the smoke. My main concern was the potentness of the smell. The potentness of the smell, it was too much. It was like the fire. It was too much. It was potent. So basically, it was just.
And so you eventually reached the exit.
Well, what happened is when I finally got down, I got down to I think the 3rd floor.
Right.
And that's when the smoke was a bit less, but by then I've breathed in a lot of the carbon dioxide, and that's when I fainted. I couldn't feel my arms. It was like I was getting poisoned, and I couldn't feel it, and I just fell on the floor. And that's when the fire brigade came and helped me out. They took me outside, and I got rescued from them.
Right.
And
did you lose consciousness at that point?
Kind of. I was in and out of consciousness.
Right.
In and out. I was feeling myself going. But I think when I got to the bottom of it, because there was fresh air, it kind of helped me a little bit more.
Right.
And what it was, and then
And so at that point, they took you outside of the block. Were you conscious that you were outside?
Yes, I was conscious by then, but I was very, very dizzy. I couldn't feel my arms. I couldn't feel anything. It was like I was weak.
Right.
And then at that stage, all I remember is that they took me down a few more stairs, like they held me up like that because I couldn't feel my body. And then when we got to the bottom, then we were confronted by police officers with riot shield, and then they had to take me under them because there was debris falling down.
Wow,
so they rushed me out, they carried me out, and then they cut off my clothes.
Right.
Then they started to put the thing inside me.
Right. And so they took you directly to hospital?
Well, they put me on the floor first, cut off my top.
Right.
Took off me, because at that stage I couldn't breathe. It was prison. Yeah. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't do anything at all. I felt weak. As I said before, I couldn't even lift up my hand. I couldn't breathe. It was mad. Obviously, I was poisoned by them for the potentness of it, and that's when they took me to the hospital. They took me to the hospital.
Obviously, it's a very hard question to ask, and possibly it's impossible for you to really be able to know. But in terms of you coming across what seemed to be dead bodies on the stairs down, would it be possible to know how many or to know the identity of them?
No. The only reason that I remember that one face is because when I got round the bend, I tripped over him.
Yeah.
And when I tripped over him, when you're low on the floor, there's less smoke.
Right.
So I actually saw his face, like the tape of his face, and that kind of. And I just got up and I just ran downstairs, and it was just. But I know it was bodies. I'm stepping on it. It was soft. Yeah. At first, I thought it was. I thought it was at first. I thought it was the pipe of the fire brigade going into each thingy, but it wasn't. I'm telling you, I know.
Right. And your neighbours, what do you know about their condition, and what did you know about what was happening?
I don't know anything about the neighbours, but I know about specifically one of them, which I got told because my girlfriend's mum knows him, and got information that it was he lived there with 3 dogs. He had a son, and he had a daughter. Apparently they all got out safe, and I'm hearing 2 stories like he went up to go and get his daughter or the dogs, but he never came back out again, and he's dead. And he loved his dogs. Or I'm hearing 2 stories, but I just heard from it was actually his dogs he went to go and get, and he never came out. That's it.
So in the period when you were then taken to hospital, how long was the period that you were on the ground? How long was it between exiting the building and going to hospital, would you say?
On the ground, I'd say about, time was.
Yeah.
It was just everything. I'm just trying to fathom it, because I went with other people as well.
Right.
But they were calling us by different legal terminologies, like P1 or P3. He's a P1, he's a P3. That's just legal jargon. So I was a P2 or something like that, where I had toxin in it, and there was other 2 P1s in it, 2 Asian women, and I think say about half an hour, 45 minutes. But by then they were inserting me with things, trying to clear out the system.
Do you know what hospital they took?
Yeah, it was St Thomas's.
St Thomas's. Do you know how many other people from Grenfell went to St Thomas's at that time?
I don't think there was that much, the woman was saying. But on the ward I was in, I was by myself, and when I was in the main bit, where they take the blood tests off you, because basically what happened is they took blood tests off me, and it was so high, so they had to bring it down, and I had to flush it out. I was on one of those things that you take a breather to clear out, and they had to put water in me as well. So they were trying to flush it out of my cells and all that, because it was all in my cells.
And so, how long were you in hospital for?
I was in hospital. I got there about 5, and I got out the next day about 6 o'clock in the evening.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, that's when it stabilised.
And what was the first thing you did?
The first thing I did is got my girlfriend to come and see me, and my family to come see me. Yeah. And I just went off with my girlfriend.
Right. and how aware were you of the magnitude of what had happened? Obviously, you'd seen
to be honest,
that we from the outside
I'll be honest with you,
only saw.
I'll be honest with you, and I'm not going to stunt it. I'm traumatised. I was crying a lot in the hospital. Every time I think about it, I'll be honest with you, I'm a man, I'll admit it. I'm not stunting or fronting. Actually, I'm traumatised. I was crying a lot. I saw a counselling woman in there as well. Every time I think about it, or see, to visualise or feel that predicament I was in, like helpless, powerless, helpless, and it's gonna affect me. I know it's gonna affect me, and I'm a man to admit it. I cried a lot thinking about it, and other people. It was just traumatising. I'm not gonna lie. It traumatised me.
In terms of the building, in your estimation as a resident of the 15th floor, was the building ready for an incident like this?
It was ready for an incident to happen, but it was not safe. It was not safe. There's nothing about it that was safe.
In what way was it not safe?
Safe in the fact of that the alarms went off a lot later. I think I was told there was no sprinklers. There meant to be some sort of sprinklers, and I think that one fireplace, there's only one exit out, which means that the people who lived in there had to get out, and plus the fire they had, and in an incident like this, they would have been catching each other. There had to be other exits. That's it. It was, and the way it burned as well, it went up. So it was ridiculous. It was like it was pre-planned or something not right here, and I'm telling you.
Do you think the cladding played a part? Because this is something that the media
Very
is
much,
speaking
yeah.
about.
The cladding. I got told there was foam in there, but it burnt up so quick. It wasn't right.
Right. And the Grenfell Action Group obviously were drawing the TMO and Kensington and Chelsea's attention to this issue, saying that this building is essentially a death trap. People will have to die in this building for people to be cognizant of what they've done, and how the structure has that it's not prepared for these kind of incidents. Would you agree with that statement?
All I would say to that is the proof is in the pudding. You can see it.
Right.
You can see it.
And in terms of responsibility and accountability for this terrible, terrible disaster, where would you at this stage lay responsibility for it?
I think it's personally it's for the construction of the people, but the other organisation that let people live in there. I think everyone's got a part to play within that corporate sector at the end of the day, because I think it was more to do with money and etc. And that's what basically for me. I think everyone's responsible. Everyone's got to play a part in it in the corporate sector. No one can pass the blame on, because that's what it seems like. Everyone's passing the blame on, saying, "Oh, it's just no." Everyone's got to take responsibility for the action and take responsibility, because that's everyone. It's everyone. I'm blaming everyone.
In terms, do you think people that have been exposed to this terrible situation should be compensated financially?
I think more than compensated financially. Money's not going to make you feel better. It's not going to clear the mind.
Yeah.
But it will help you settle out and try to get on with your life and try to move on.
Yeah.
But more than that, I think it's more mental. It's all in your head. It's mental, because for me personally, the images and all that, it's really affects me. Every time I think about it, it makes me, you know.
And in terms of other people that you know and love in the building, that we know and love in the building as a community, are you aware of their situations? Are there people who you may want to make an appeal about, that are missing, that you'd like to know about?
To be honest, I've only been in there for 2 years, that building.
Right.
And I know my neighbour because she's from my girlfriend, but it's not like I knew anyone in there directly, but I said hello to certain people. I don't know their name, or certain people I go to the gym with. I didn't know that, because I'm someone who keep myself to myself anyway. I'm just a hello, goodbye, how are you, smiles and all that. But I just hope that I just hope that, I don't know, I just want to say, I just hope that, you know, that everyone's safe and everyone gets through this, because this is a tragedy. It's I don't know, I just feel sorry for every single individual going through that. And it's something,
because at the same time, we know each other from 2012, so about 5 years. So while you have only lived in this building for 2 years, you've been around Ladbroke Grove.
Standard.
As someone that knows Ladbroke Grove, as someone that knows its history of diasporic brilliance, of creation, of this is where Bob Marley recorded Exodus. You know, this is where Frestonia, they wanted to claim for independence of the United Nations. This is Mangrove Night, Darkest Hour. How do you think this will affect the psychological state of Ladbroke Grove?
It will vary.
This incident.
How would it affect it? It would affect the people a lot. How would it affect them? It would affect them in a lot of ways, because you have to understand this is a serious incident, and I don't think that people will forget this in a short while. It would affect a lot of people, because you have to understand is a lot of people lost families, friends and all that. It's a atrocity. It's you can't forget it. You can't forget that. It's something. It's just, I don't know. You can't. But it's going to affect the community for a little while. It's going to be like a smell that doesn't go away for a little while. But it's just.
And what lesson do you feel that we need to take from as members of the community in terms of dealing with each other?
I think what today has shown or the last few days has shown is that the community coming together is something that you don't really see that much, but you see every individual's human beings coming together, and you can see that love. It has no corporate infection in it. Corporate people believe that we need corporate corporations to help us. We don't need, if we come together as a nation, which proved it, we all helped each other, everyone put in, and I think that kind of uplifted my spirit as well, saying that we can, as a nation, stick together and whatnot. And I think that anytime that we feel that we're in a situation where we believe that our life's in danger as a community, we need to pull it onto these corporations and make them know, listen, look, no, we're not going back. You have to deal with this. We have to start making claims against them and making them liable for their action before it happens, because we can't just be in a situation and say, oh, watch when it happens, and you see, and then it happens and whatnot. No, we can't have another one of these. We need to stamp it out ASAP, and we need to make claims against these and make them liable, because they don't care about us. It's about money, business and whatnot. We're just residents, we're just consumers. You don't have, we're just name and numbers. We're human beings, we're spiritual beings. So for me, we need to out it straight away.
Are you also aware of the Silchester regeneration plans?
No.
So the plans that the council have had for about a year and a half now have been to knock down everything between Ladbroke Grove Tube Station and Westway and replace them with properties which are worth a lot more, which are possibly more
ethnic cleansing. That's been going on for for a very long time. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get people out of London to countries where they can make this into a corporate place.
Do you think this incident can be weaponized by them? So one way of looking at it is they can turn to the rest of the people that live in the tower blocks and say, you don't want to happen to you what happened in Grenfell, therefore you should support us knocking down the tower blocks. Do you think that's a possibility?
No, because it has nothing to do with the buildings are unsafe. It has the fact of how do you protect it and what you can do. It has to be, you can have building blocks, there's nothing wrong with building blocks, but it's how safely you can do it at the end of the day. Because for me personally, if I was to build that block there, and I put money into it, I would make sure that it's safety, so I don't lose that money. So whoever built that knew that it was unsafe, and they insured it. So whatever happens anyway, they make money both ways. That's what I believe, because it wasn't safe.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us. I'm so glad you're okay.
Cool, my brother, man.
The community loves you, bro.
Yeah, man. One love there, one as well, man. Cool, my brother.
Nice one.
Thank you.
Nice one.
Thank you.